So you play the game as much as they play the game?
Of course, we all play the game. We try to focus, obviously in ourselves and our team, but there are always mind games.
How are you?
Hello.
Fernando, nice to see you again.
Hello.
So,
Nice to see you.
there are the words, unearth your greatness. You've done it a few times over the years. What's the secret to unearthing your greatness?
Obviously, you have to love what you do. You have to still enjoy what you do. You need to focus on something, on a goal, and then go for it. There are sacrifices that you have to make.
What motivates you today?
Personal challenge, I would say. Try to win again in Formula One. The project itself, Aston Martin, the great facilities that we have now, the great people that join the team as well. I feel very proud to be part of the organization, and it keeps me in the best shape possible, because I know that I have a responsibility, over my shoulders, being in an incredible organization like Aston Martin, and that's the place where I want to have the last opportunity in F1.
Is that right?
Yeah, I think look. I'm racing now because I love to race. I'm racing because I want to win again, and I want to win it with this team. We all want to prove something. We all want to win one more time. In Formula One, you are dictated by the car performance, but the job from a driver is different. You have to create that perfect car together with the team. So it's a different kind of job. You are not only driving on Sundays, you have to create the perfect team from Monday to Saturday.
So when you talk about you have to create a perfect team, what are the things they want to see and hear, the behaviours from you that really matter?
First of all, you need to respect, everyone's job here. We are 900 or 1,000 people in Aston Martin, and everyone in the team has a key role, into the performance of the car. At the same time, I think you need to lead by example. You have to dedicate, the necessary hours to perform at your best. You have to deliver the result on Sundays when it's possible. You have to be sharp, fit, motivated all throughout the season to do the job every day, despite you have better days and worse days. You have to have this mask. When you come to the job that you have to perform, and Formula One is brutal in that respect. It's the most competitive environment in any sport. There are no off days here. Every day is key to success. After a good or a bad result, I'm always the same. And I expect that everyone is doing the 100% as well when they come to the factory.
You said you have to sometimes put a mask on. Is that because you need to be the person that's ready to go all the time?
You cannot show any weakness, in the sport. As an athlete, we are 20 drivers in the world, so there are a lot of eyes on us. There are a lot of attention on everything we do. Good things and bad things are exaggerated, sometimes for good, sometimes for bad. And you have to really, obviously, have a huge self-confidence, but at the same time, you have to show no weaknesses on your driving style. You have not to show any weakness on the media appearance, in any of the rumors that may appear. You have to be always very, very cool about that. You have to put a mask when you enter the paddock.
Is it not exhausting?
It is very demanding. Not every day you feel 100% and you feel ready to do the commitments that you have to do. It is demanding, but I think all the jobs are demanding if you do it to perfection. Even the very simple job, out there, if you do it perfect and if you want to be the best at the thing you do, it is demanding, and you have to accept that and to enjoy the process of finding perfection, let's say.
And I think when it comes to unearthing your greatness, the trick really is to understand what everyone else is doing as well. What are the games, either the mind games or the physical things that you see from other drivers where you're like, I know that's a game, or maybe the ones that you do yourself?
It's not that everything is so obvious, from the athlete itself, that has some strengths or weaknesses. But yeah, you understand with time, different characters and different ways of behaving, from your rivals that you can spot. Even in free practice, that there are a couple of interactions with other drivers and cars, more friendly or less, or...
What does less friendly look like in free practice?
Yeah, just, impeding a little bit some of the good laps, some tricks out of the pit lane, that you are letting a car go, or just taking that spot and break a little bit the train of cars that are coming behind. You know, there are always little things. Driver's briefing, you know, sometimes you go there in the room and your main rival on the previous race raise a point from that race that you were a little bit borderline on overtaking move or something like that. So they just ask for a clarification on that move, which they know it was right and it was on the limit, but just, you know, that's is pointing at you, you know, that question. You know these kind of things and you play that game as well sometimes. It's more outside the car where you can spot some of the competitiveness that we all have, you know, in some media answers. You point towards some competitors sometimes and they point at you. Teams, they exploit the rules to the limit. Sometimes, you know, when you see a team or a car or a driver dominated for 2 or 3 races and then that controversial rear wing that they've been using is banned or something for the future races, then you point at that, you know, device.
And was there a season in your career where you knew mentally you'd managed to have the beating of your opponents?
My Ferrari seasons 2010, 2012, we fought for the championship until the last race with a package that was not as competitive as the Red Bull. And I think some of that competitiveness and fight mode that we entered in those years were also coming from the outside. I remember once, I think it was Korea, South Korea in 2010, it was a red flag. In the middle of the race, it was very wet, aquaplaning everywhere. We stopped on the grid and it was Mark Webber first, I was second. I came to the grid and I spoke with him. You know, the track is really bad, you know, this aquaplaning. It will be a disaster if we restart the race now. And I knew that the race was about to restart soon. He said that entered in his mind that the track was worse than what actually it was. And he crashed after the restart.
You wily old devil.
I was trying to use every single thing that it was in my pocket, you know, in that day to really win a race or keep the championship alive a little bit longer.
If we're talking about greatness, there's also tough times because that's part of finding the greatness. When was the period in your career where you think mentally it was the biggest challenge and the biggest struggle?
2010. There is a very narrow line between greatness and big disappointments, and it was the case in 2010. We were very close to win the championship in Abu Dhabi. We didn't manage, and that was a big down moment. One of those moments that you will love to go back 24 hours in time and do things differently. It's a big opportunity to win a championship and then lose it, you know, in that hour and a half in those 57 laps of Abu Dhabi. You need to come out of that dark moment. It can be 1 week, it can be 2 hours, it can be 3 days. In my case, it was like 16 hours. I think I woke up in Monday morning and we had a Pirelli test on Tuesday. And I took that Pirelli test as a reset point. It was 16 hours, you know, what the stayed inside, you know, the disappointment.
And for people watching this who struggle with getting over disappointment or it holds them back, what advice would you share with them that you've learned over the years?
That everything goes by very fast, much faster than what you think in that moment. You know, in that moment you think that, okay, the end, this is the end of the world, but the sun and the day comes within 16 hours and it's a new day. You know, it's difficult to understand why this happened now and what this happened to me. With time, with days, with weeks or with months, you will understand, actually that had to happen to find me now in this situation.
Amor fati, accept your fate. Like, this is the way that the world has set out for me. Are you able to accept your fate when you look at your career and you think of the great moments, but you also think of the tough moments, and you're now sitting here at Aston Martin? Would you change anything?
If I change something, I will not maybe be here now, and I will not be who I am now. So it is tricky always. Obviously, if you have the crystal ball and you go back in time and you do things differently, in Formula One, it's very easy to choose different teams. Maybe you win more championships, or you are in a different position, but I'm happy. You know, I think all the decisions that I made, all the mistakes and good things that I made had to happen, and they were there for a reason.
What would you say is the biggest lesson you've learned from success?
You will not be there forever, you know. It's very obvious. When things are going bad and good, you understand that that's for that moment in time, and it will not last forever. But you still believe in that right moment that they will be forever. You know, I don't know why. Even if we know, you think that winning races that will be, you know, from now on, the normality, winning championships, that's my destiny. You know, these kind of things, you know, in that moment. So I would say that now, when I have success, or if I do have success in the future, I will enjoy more that moment, because I know that the following week it will vanish somehow. You know, it will stay there forever in the book, something like that. But the personal feeling will just dramatically go down. It's just a moment of high, and probably I didn't enjoy as much as I should in the past. You mentally go and transport to the future and just thinking of the next championship. I won the championship in 2006, and I was thinking, okay, now I go to McLaren in 2007, so I need to adapt.
So you were always thinking of the next?
Always, and I didn't enjoy the moment, because I thought somehow that was the normality.
Yeah.
So with time and with maturity, you learn those things.
We're discussing greatness, right? But greatness is only great for you if you actually stop to enjoy the greatness. If you move on instantly, how great actually was it? You know, you might get a race win this weekend for Aston Martin, and it might feel like the greatest thing you've ever done, because you've learned that you have to enjoy every moment. But then I also think that if you're searching for greatness, do you have time to really stop and enjoy those moments? Because your competitors might not be doing that.
Agree. I think it's an interesting point, because probably you will not achieve greatness if you do enjoy the success.
So what's the point?
I think you have to combine both things. Greatness can only be achieved if you constantly search for the next success. To make a difference in an ultra competitive sport, it means that you need to do something extraordinary, and you have to do something that probably has been never done before. You have to be always in a constant mood of just sacrificing everything for the next success, and that's very difficult to do in life.
Absolutely, and I think this also applies to everyone watching this, everyone in this room now. I think so many people live their lives thinking, I'll be happy when I have some success. And it's only when we stop and look back we realise the happiness should have been in the struggle, in the sacrifice, in the challenge.
You have to enjoy the journey. In a way, it was happening in my career as well after Formula One. I always thought that the prototype cars and the Le Mans cars were the ones that I really loved to see. You know, from very young age, I saw those cars, that capsule, you know, where the driver is in, that it was very, very attractive. I tried the 24-hour Le Mans, I tried the Indy 500, I went to Dakar, Daytona. All those challenges, you know, made me grow as a driver, but also as a person. I went out of my comfort zone. I have to learn from the best how to drive those cars, which was very different than a Formula One car. Formula One is my life, and it's very big sport in the world, but it's still very, very small if you compare to, you know, what motorsport can offer and what a driver can become. You can be a much more complete person and more complete driver if you expand a little bit the view outside Formula One.
So you're a better driver for having had time out of Formula One driving
100%,
somewhere else?
100%, because as a driver you see different point of views, and outside Formula One I think I learned a lot of things.
What do you think is your greatest ever F1 drive?
I don't know, it's difficult to choose and difficult to remember all of them.
I thought you would have an instant answer to this question.
To Valencia, probably. One of the best, but I think it has been the most mediatic one and the well-known. But there are many races that, you know, people were not maybe aware of. I think it was Malaysia, Sepang 2011, probably, where I had a problem on the gear shift. And the gearbox was broken, semi-broken, the clutch had a problem. The gears went up, okay, but not down, around half through the race. I tried to downshift to 10-1, and from 7th I went to only 5th instead of 2nd. So I did 10-1 in 5th, I lost time. I realized in the following corner that it was a problem. Out of desperation, I tried to blip the throttle on a downshift, just because if not I will retire the car in that lap. And I blipped the throttle and the downshift went in. So in the next braking point I blipped the throttle 4 times and 4 downshifts went down. And I communicate to the team, what I'm doing is right or wrong. I will break the gearbox within 1 lap. And they said, keep doing what you're doing. Gearbox is safe by doing that. And I did like 30 laps like that. So upshift was okay, and then braking, I had to brake. And while having the pressure on the brake pedal, I have to blip the throttle a couple of times to the downshift that I wanted. Obviously synchronize the throttle and the paddle shift. The engineers, they came and they said, I don't know why you came with that solution, that fast, because that could be a solution, but you did it like in 13 or 14 seconds in the second corner after you had a problem. And I said, I hate losing, I hate retiring the car. I will try everything before just stopping, and accept that we have to DNF. I finished like fifth or something, completely anonymous. No one will remember that race. But the level of energy that I had to put in that race, the level of concentration, focus, and instantly come out with a solution of a problem that it was never tested or experienced, I think it was quite a race to remember. But as I said, some races, they come anonymous on the people.
The inside story of Malaysia 2011, that's one of my favourite Formula One stories straight away. I don't think people know about that very...
No, they don't know much. No.
That's also a good reminder that when we are unearthing our own version of greatness, it's about what matters to us. It's not about the public opinion of that. And when things are a challenge, as they are now, for race results at Aston Martin, what's the secret to remaining optimistic, to remaining hopeful?
You have to trust the team and the people that we have in the factory. I think the latest recruitment that we had, and the new people that came brought us a reset on expectations and motivation. If you don't see any change when the situation is not good, then it becomes a problem. Then you lose the trust. You don't see the light at the end of the tunnel. But I think in Aston, what I found is a team and a leadership that they are never happy until we win.
And a couple of weeks before the news broke that Adrian Newey was joining this team, I had a chance to speak with him and I said, what are you most excited about? And he said, I've never had the chance to work with Fernando Alonso. You'd also never had the chance to work with Adrian Newey, and now you're doing that here. When you think about Adrian Newey and greatness, what do you think about?
For sure the best ever designer in the sport, and no one probably will achieve the numbers that he has. Yeah. And the way he works explains some of the results that he had. He has an incredible way of seeing the car as one piece that works together, not single devices that provide performance. He just can anticipate the whole car like in one piece. He seems in control of everything at all the time. A self-confidence that probably I never saw before. He's not stressed about any other team or any other philosophy or any other design. He believes that his will be the best.
How does that make you feel?
Very safe. He came to Monaco to the race. He was just in the garage. He's not talking to many people, but at the same time, always thinking, and touching, the front wing here, the suspension there. He's, I think, an artist more than an engineer.
I think that you're the dream partnership. The thing that I noticed between the two of you most of all, utter obsession. Total and utter obsession with winning. Am I right?
Yeah. When we are motivated, we are obsessed.
I think people see the success, they see the victories, they don't see the hard work. What would you say to people that don't understand how much hard work and greatness are connected?
They are part of each other. You will not get one without the other, but hard work and the process of winning and achieving something special is already a victory. It's already a success. When I go into a championship or when I go into a race, I do believe that I'm the best prepared. That kind of preparation, that kind of knowledge about the whole race situation make me a winner before I start the race. And I will not win the race. I understand what is the limitation of the package and the speed we have, but I go into the race full of optimism, confidence, and determination to achieve the best result that Sunday. Sometimes it's 7th, sometimes it's 9th, sometimes it's on the podium. If a podium is in our hands, I will not finish 8th. I'm sure of that.
Greatness is not actually winning. Greatness is the best you can do in that moment.
Greatness is the best version of yourself in that moment, and never stop searching for something better. That's greatness for me.
What a great conversation. I love that, mate.